there, Cap. I bet you want to buy me just 'cause I was in the John Wick movie.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to be that asshole who buys a gun just because it's in a movie.
You already own a KSG-12, and you're a resident.
Well, hey everyone, how you doing? This is Camp Galena with username. You're watching Guns and Blammo, and this is the top 10 movies for guns of all time. So as I snoozed away there, hugging my guns, yeah, as you can tell, this is a KSG-12. And if this is a gun guy movie, you may have recognized this and any other space age type looking shotgun because it really interests the public. So outside of this thing that I love to be the big spoon, and this is the little spoon. And by the way, for those of you on my last video gave me a shit about the sight mark and the Chinesium backup iron sights, well, I got an EOTech and a Magpul now, all right? So, all that aside, so as we're talking about our favorite gun guy movies, everybody loves a little John Wick, so needless to say, the KSG-12 wasn't John Wick, as well as my HK P30L. And I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that I bought these guns because I saw them in the movie. Frankly, this just with the compensator and nothing else is the direct copy. The only difference is I don't have two of them, right? But it's cool. It's fun. A part of the gun industry is to have fun learning about what these guns are in movies and being able to shoot it to see what it feels like and how it shoots and how it meshes with you. So yeah, you know what? Some of them make sense with my philosophy of use, but in general, it's just nice to have really cool, awesome guns. And a great way of advertising them is in the movies. So what I'm going to go through today is our top 10 gun guy movies of all time. Now keep in mind, we are going to have a few criteria. Number one, it's got to be a good movie. Some of these gun guy movies are pretty damn bad. Some of them are pretty damn good. And so on this list, I'm going to kind of measure it between the use of guns with the quality of the movie and how they all mesh together. Number two, it has to be fun. Hollywood's never going to get guns completely right. People are inevitably going to shoot more rounds out of their magazine than they actually have. Things are not going to be as realistic as they seem. But in general, let's have fun with it, right? The whole idea of a movie is escapism. So it's not just saying, oh, well, that's not completely realistic. There's a lot of things I could point out in every gun movie that are not completely realistic. But the bottom line is I'm there to be entertained and also appreciate the guns that are being shown in the movie. Number three. Now, while it has to be fun, it also has to be relatively realistic. I'm going to give Hollywood a little bit of leeway to say, hey, you know what, may not be as on point as it should be in real life, but with a little bit of realism, it adds to the situation for people such as ourselves that like to watch that movie and kind of feel like we'd actually be in that situation. So number three is realism. Number four, and honestly to me, maybe the most important aspect is the cultural relevance of what that gun represents. So while some movies may be completely ridiculous in how they use it, it might actually get people into guns a little bit more than you're used to, which adds to the 2A community, which adds to the movement of thou shall not be infringed. So when you have that cultural relevance, it adds to the overall mythology and philosophy of gun use and gets people interested in it. So for me, that actually has a whole lot of importance when it comes to this situation. All right, so with that said, here we go. All right, so number 10 for me would be Lord of War. A very interesting gun movie. In fact, the entire movie revolves around guns, so it makes it kind of interesting to watch. That being said, it's kind of standard operating procedure for most of us. Whole lot of ARs, whole lot of AK-47s, which I'm clearly a fan of, but at the same token, when we're getting into a gun guy movie, you want to see something a little bit interesting here or there. It stars Nicolas Cage, who to this day I don't think has gone a week without making a movie. And strangely enough, with the audience scores, it being 61 with the critics and 84 with the audiences, proving once again that no matter what Nicolas Cage does, some people just want to watch it out there, including myself. So some of the interesting guns in this movie. Well, Yuri, being Nicolas Cage, is a gun dealer.
By the mid-'80s, bioweapons were represented in 8 of the world's top 10 war zones.
His brother, Vitaly, played by Jared Leto, does operate majority of the movie with a Beretta 925B, which is a great gun, and it kind of keeps it consistent with the movie, which I do like, so I'll go with that. Just overall, while this is number 10, as it is a movie about gun sales, it's chock full of AK-47s and AR platforms. Some of the cool stuff, it did have a Henry U.S. Survival takedown rifle on the back gun wall of Yuri at some point, in stainless steel with a, believe, an aim point scope on it, a red dot on it, which I found rather interesting to begin with, just to have that as an option on the wall. And one of my other favorite parts is when he's escaping the authorities and starts just throwing guns to the people in the village of where he's at. He provides them an RPG-7, which, when he gives it to him and he was traveling on the airplane, was loaded. So for that, in and of itself, while it'd be chock full of guns, that's why it's number 10. Number 10, Lord of War. Number 9, Smoking Aces, a 2007 film with a star-studded cast that felt like Snatch just had a baby with Transformers, where Ari Gold proves to pull his movie magic once again, but gets in trouble with the law and the mob, leading to a group of crazy individuals, all toting guns, shooting away in a hotel to get their payday. All right, so this is number 9. Again, we're being a little bit loose with our rules and regulations because some of these are much more efficient with our criteria and super lax on others. So with this and Smoking Aces, it's a whole lot of fun. Don't let the details bog you down. Don't be an analytical person when reviewing the gunplay. And with that, some of the guns and the way they presented are really cool and frankly hilarious. So first and foremost, the gun that is probably most prevalent in this movie is the H&K USP 45, which for federal agents at the time, and I think it still may be, is kind of standard operating procedure, and that's what Ray Liotta and Ryan Reynolds were carrying through much of the movie. And frankly, my favorite scene in the entire movie would be the sniper rifle scene where I believe the character's name was Charisse Waters, played by Taraji Henson, where she's shooting a Barrett MA2A1 from one hotel room to the other. Possibly viable with a sniper rifle, of course, but Ryan Reynolds taking his handgun, his H&K USP 45, shooting it across the street, and when he finally gets to his total level of frustration, throws it at the building. Hopefully that last shot made it, but I highly doubt it. With that, there are some really other fun guns in this movie. The gunplay, again, is a bit ridiculous. The Tremor brothers in the movie.
I'm going down.
I bet you are.
One of them played by Kevin Durand, who's that giant guy. I think he played the Blob in the Wolverine movie that really sucked. Well, one of my favorite guns that he totes, which I wish I could get my hands on, but it's been illegal since 1997, is the Cobra Street Sweeper. That is a revolver type of 12-gauge shotgun with the biggest stainless steel casing you've ever seen to help get those bullets out. And my God, it is super entertaining to watch that gun in action. I wish I could shoot one. It's been one of my dreams to always do so. One of the other characters, I believe his name was Lazio. He was one of the guys there with Ari Gold, or Jeremy Piven's character in the movie, who was played by a magician. He's shooting the Sphinx AT-2000 with a suppressor. That's a really nice gun. Really, really would like to take that one for a spin. So even though the gunplay in this movie is completely ridiculous, the movie itself is extremely entertaining, and the guns in it are pretty damn cool as it begins with. So my number 9 would be Smoking Aces. Number 8, Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds, finally graduating from throwing guns out of a window, has now joined the California Raisins to save his stripper slut girlfriend from dying of syphilis he likely gave her in the first place. So my number 8 was Deadpool. In terms of favorite movies, this would be near the top for me. It's one of those movies when it comes on, I'm just going to watch it and be entertained. I was pleasantly surprised with it, given being a fan of the comic book material and knowing that Ryan Reynolds is a really good choice for it. And from what I understand, he really took to the comic book material and the character itself to portray what we all grew to know and love in the comic books. The other part of this movie, which I really loved in terms of guns, is the importance of guns in the movie.
Down.
This wasn't just a superhero who punched and kicked and laser-eyed their way through crowds of bad guys.
Daddy needs to express some rage.
Instinctively needed guns to accomplish their goal and use them in a way that would be a little bit more realistic. Now, when you say realistic, and the biggest scene of this entire movie where the guns got really unique was that scene in the beginning and then in the middle where he is on the bridge. Now, if I am a superhero character, and we know every goddamn friggin' gun movie's got to pull out some big-ass handgun, and everybody loves a Desert Eagle like they're Duke Nukem, right? Shooting a 50 cal. Well, if I'm a superhero who I'm going to experience very little recoil, and I happen to be an experienced marksman, frankly, I'd be using a 50 cal too. What if the 50 cal kicks like a, 9mm or a Browning Buck Mark 22 long rifle handgun? 50 cal is going to be a great option. So I actually do like the fact that he's coming in there with two different Desert Eagles, being the IMI Desert Eagle XIX 50AE. So it's nothing special to it. They don't go crazy with it or give it any kind of add-ons. It's just him and two Desert Eagles on that bridge. Now, on that bridge, every bad guy seems to have a really cool and unique gun. It's not as if like their bad guy group has a standard operating procedure gun. They just each kind of pick which one they think is the coolest. So one of those was the FN Scar L. The Scar L is different than the Scar H because typically an FN Scar is a 7.62 by 51, where the person is shooting a heavier caliber bullet, but in this case, it's a standard operating procedure 5.56. So I like the fact that they kind of gave that person a different feel. One of the other ones is the IMI Micro Tavor, MTAR-21. Tavors are always cool-looking, space-looking guns, much like the Kel-Tec KSG that I just showed you, which is in one of the later films that we discussed. So if the gun is cool-looking, Hollywood typically loves it and wants to put it in their films, but the realism of how that would be used would be in a situation like that. And I like that it's a little bit hodgepodge, that there's not some kind of uniform gun for all of the bad guys. They kind of pick and choose what they want. And my favorite gun on the entire bridge scene would be the Sig Sauer SG 5.52. Reason being is that SG stands for, how do you pronounce this? Sturmgewehr. Sturmgewehr?
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Sturmgewehr. Well, Sturmgewehr means in German, assault rifle. So for the first time ever in an actual gun name where it's not AR standing for Armalite rifle, it actually stands for assault rifle. Finally, for those futuristic looking guns, they do have the UTS-15 shotgun. Now, this is a very popular sci-fi looking shotgun, heavy, high capacity, 15 rounds. You find it in Furious 7, Jurassic World on TV with Almost Human, Fringe, and I even believe the Flash series showed this movie. That shows you the versatility of the coolness of this gun. I like it too. I love a high capacity shotgun, but the fact that it looks so unique happens to put it in multiple movies, and this one was no exception. Number 7, The Matrix. This 1999 classic, directed by the Wachowski, Shim siblings, stars Keanu Reeves. After mastering the art of surfing and falling in love on speeding buses, decided to try his hand at kung fu, effectively answering the age-old question, if you had to be stuck in the apocalypse with a celebrity, who would it be? Alright, if I were to put The Matrix on any other list, it would be in my top 5 movies of all time, not just because of the gunplay, but because of the more unique approach to what the film is and what it truly entails. That being said, it was one of those, in terms of our criteria, cultural relevance, to bringing importance to guns in a cinematic universe. It had high-end sci-fi and CG that has ever since been stolen by every major movie out there, and within that they incorporated gunplay. The gunplay in this one is frankly completely and utterly ridiculous, but it makes sense in the frame of the movie of it being a alternate type of universe where your thoughts and abilities overtake whatever may be happening in reality. So with that said, this movie is one of my all-time favorites. There's all types of unique small guns. There's so many in this movie that it's frankly difficult to really break down. But I do like the fact that one of the scenes that coincides with 2 different movies, one being John Wick and one being Matrix, is Keanu Reeves just saying, guns.
Guns.
Lots of guns.
Lots of guns.
Number 6, Terminator 2, Judgment Day. This 1991 all-time classic starring our favorite sellout California governor and nanny bangbot Arnold Schwarzenegger, who goes back in time to save the career of Edward Furlong just to realize it's gonna suck just as much as Junior. Alright, he was a bit cooler with it in the movie. It wasn't a pump action, it was a lever action shotgun. But all of us saw that movie and all we wanted to do was cock a shotgun with one hand and blow the tires off of an 18-wheeler after seeing it. The part that I like most about that shotgun in the movie, though, it was a Winchester Model 1887. Very old school gun. It's an 1887 because, in fact, it started in 1887 in service and ended in 1901, which, with the new school Terminator coming to destroy the child, with Arnold Schwarzenegger being the old school Terminator and having an old school gun, I kind of like the feel of how they approach that to be a bit different in their understanding of the guns and how they're going to be utilized with the theme of the movie. Now keep in mind, the movie is ridiculous with the gun use, but I do like how they put an emphasis on making sure that the gun is extremely important to the self-safety of everyone involved. Now, it can't be a Terminator movie without any kind of miniguns. And so in this case, it's the minigun M134, chambered in 7.62 by 51, shooting 4,000 to 6,000 rounds per minute. So for any of you liberals out there that may be watching this and thinking AR shoots, 1,000 bullets in 5 seconds, go for yourself.
Damn!
All right. So one of the other things that I really love about this movie is that one of the main protagonists in the movie is a female character. And I'm not big on the SJW movement, but I like a female character who they don't focus on the fact that they're female, right? Just like Ripley in Aliens or Sarah Connor here in the Terminator series. It's not about them being a female. It's just about them being pretty damn badass. They train, they function correctly with the guns, they understand the mechanism of what they're doing, how they're doing it, trying to get out of hairy situations, and being a hero at the end of the day. So for the current day montage of OP female characters like Captain Marvel, who can't do any wrong but have the personality of a turnip, I really like that old school approach of a female character who we don't even focus on the fact that she's female, just that she's badass and good with a gun. That was part 1 of our top 10 gun movies of all time. Please go to our YouTube station to find part 2 and enjoy the movies. Thank you for watching Username. Please like, share, and subscribe to the station for all the latest episodes of our core Username content, the latest on Second Amendment and fun with firearms with Guns and Blammo, pop culture with Hollyweird, and up-to-date news with anonymous sources. Be sure to catch our Pravda Media parody show extraordinaire, haywire news. Visit our Teespring account for all of the newest and latest fun attire. I look forward to talking to you soon and have a great day.